Hey dudes, dudettes, and doodles. I've finally done it. I'm finally posting the video about scientifically accurate mermaids. I have a lot to go over, but before that, it should of course be noted that I am no kind of science doctor, and I will be taking some creative liberties. I unfortunately wasn't able to make the art for this project as expansive as I had originally planned, and will probably revisit this in the future. I also highly encourage you to make follow-up videos to this one, whether you have a scientific or artistic background, or are even coming at this from a completely different angle. I would love to see what you come up with. So getting into it, there were a few considerations I wanted to keep in mind while I did research for the scientific portion. Firstly, mermaids are half human, half fish, and most other considerations and questions will be based on this premise. It's important to note this in order to differentiate our mermaids from the ones that are basically humans with fish-like qualities, or basically fish with human-like qualities. That isn't to put down those types of mermaids. All mermaids are valid, it's just not what we're going to be doing today. Secondly, the anatomy of the mammal part of our mermaids will be as close to human anatomy as possible while allowing them to survive, but changes will likely be made while necessary. After all, humans have not evolved to live underwater. Because our mermaids will have human-like digestive tracts, they will be omnivores who require more plants than meat to survive. Finally, we're going to try as much as possible to be loyal to mermaid lore. I did a lot of research on this, but I forgot to save the links to my sources, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure I found the sources in the citation section of the Wikipedia page on the mermaids though, so if you want to learn more, just go there. Mermaids have been known for interacting with humans, singing, dancing, and being protective. Mermaids having an advanced knowledge of medicine and science came up a few times in my research, and mermaids have been described as both solitary and living in communes. Also, based on the legends about mermaids that I skimmed through, they don't appear to place much value on money, so we'll be making a creature who probably spends more time above water than most water mammals, can sing and move gracefully underwater, can survive both alone or in a group, and values survival, scientific discovery, and beauty over material wealth in the way humans are used to it. This is one of the areas that I had originally planned on drawing more and doing sketches to represent these different parts of mermaid lore, but I just ended up not being able to get that done, and I was already becoming really late as it was, so unfortunately I had to leave that out. I obviously had to do research on fish and mammal anatomy, and I'm going to share some of my notes on that as it was pretty interesting. Based on their need for a high amount of edible plant life, it seems our mermaids would be better off living in freshwater, like in rivers or lakes. Although there are saltwater plants, they seem to be pretty consistently leafy, while rivers can be home to wild rice, water chestnuts, and generally a more diverse range of plant life. But that's just based on what I found. Again, I'm not any kind of biologist, and I highly encourage artists or scientists, if you're watching, to make videos to add in anything I may have missed in this one. I couldn't find much on how underwater mammals differ from land mammals in regards to vocalization. I think we can assume our mermaids would have a greater range of pitch than humans do. There are some parts of my research that I completely forgot to include in the final art, like the fins on their backs and the sides of their arms for balance. I thought that I should point that out here so that you weren't led astray by the final product of this video. At least I remembered the gills and caudal fins, so that's something, I guess. I briefly played around with the idea of giving the mermaids fins similar to flying fish, but felt that would be going overboard, and the idea didn't make it to the sketch phase. I still think it's pretty cool though, so I might do more with that idea in a future video. Our mermaids are going to have partially retractable, durable nails for different ways they'll need to be able to grip things. Admittedly, a lot of my research for the size of the mermaids is based on freshwater dolphins because they were really the only fully aquatic freshwater mammal I could find a bunch of information on. Larger freshwater dolphins tended to be around 8 feet long and approximately 350 pounds, while smaller dolphins tended to be around 5.5 feet long and approximately 135 pounds. So I think it's fair to say that our mermaids can basically be the same average height and weight as an average human, with maybe a tad more body fat for insulation. I couldn't think of a way to justify giving mermaids hair like the kind Ariel or whoever has, so I made the hair shorter and more fur-like to resemble seal fur. I was tempted to put the fur all over the human half, but everything I thought of to make that look not extremely awkward would have made calling them half human kind of a stretch, visually speaking. I did add in a little extra fur where warmth is most likely to escape the body, just to say that I tried to be scientifically accurate, and also because I think it looks more visually interesting. Although I did also forget to put some of these patches of fur on the final illustration I ended up doing, because I'm forgetful, I guess. I changed the nose shape just slightly to resemble that of a seal, and by just slightly, I mean completely to resemble that of a seal. Seals can close their noses completely when they go underwater. That seemed like a pretty useful thing to do if our mermaids don't want to be swallowing water all the time, so I thought, what the heck? And this was the best way to communicate that they have a seal-like nose. Mermaids don't exist, so the justification for why they look the way they do doesn't have to be rock solid. I mean, what are you gonna do? Fact check me? Tell me what real mermaids look like? This video took a long time to make and I'm tired. If you heard a bunch of thudding in the background, that is my brother probably being super loud for no reason. I love that. Anyway, I did similar things with the ears for similar reasons. Look, all my research is in the description, so if you really want to know, you can just look there. The skin of our mermaids is going to be like a bluish gray color because I got tired of reading boring science websites trying and failing to appeal to children, as well as overly complicated research papers that I barely understood. And I know that a lot of underwater mammals have skin that's kind of this color. Let's pretend the professionalism of this video hasn't deteriorated as it's gone on. The biggest thing I regret about this video is that I wasn't able to record the sketch portion because of technical difficulties, but I hope this has been fun to watch anyway. I'm losing my voice, so we're gonna have to end this pretty soon. I was originally going to do a more realistic drawing, but it was taking a long time and I was really hating how it was turning out, so I made it in my regular, more sketchy style instead. Comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. As always, my social media and places where you can buy my art are in the description. I hope you're safe and having a lovely day. See you soon.